how in the hell do y'all deal with us trauma-filled men? And how do sisters create a safe space for us to be vulnerable?
Woo! Who want to go first on that?
I'm gonna let you talk first.
Well, what I have learned, because before I was like, get yourself together. Whatever it is, go fix it. Come back when you got it all together. We can build together, et cetera, et cetera. And then once I started to look at what love really is, like the definition of love for me, and love is the desire to understand, right? And so that's going back to some Buddhist principles. And if you are going into your conversations, into your questioning with the desire to understand, then I think you are creating a space for that Black man to be able to really open up to you. But if you're going in with your own predetermined notions, you know, what you're trying to get out of the conversation, what you want him to say or do or fix, you know, I find that was harder to be able to make that connection with him. So my driving point is go in with the desire to understand. If you say you love him. If you love him.
What about you, Taraji?
It's just understanding. You have to understand, and it's not about winning. It's about an understanding because love really, like when you compare, this is when I knew I grew up, because when you can compare your relationship, like with my girlfriends, like I don't freak out if they don't call me right back because I love them and I know they love me and I know it's solid what we got. But the problem becomes if you don't have that foundation in the beginning. So I'm okay with everybody. First of all, no one's perfect because that's my therapist freed me when she was like, the perfect lie is perfection. That's right. The perfect lie. Oh. And through my therapy and tapping into my trauma, it's like a lot of times it's a misunderstanding. So if you go into it knowing that no one is perfect with an understanding of trying to build a foundation of trust where we can both be our vulnerable selves, where we don't have to send a representative because I trust if I fall, you're going to catch me. Those are things you build, but you can only build them if you are actively dealing with your trauma. And a lot of times it's difficult. And I'm dedicated to the Black man, y'all. I just turned 50 and
wow.
You know, and I haven't said it yet, but it didn't work out. You know what I mean? And I tried. I was like, therapy, let's do the therapy thing. But if you're both not on the same page with that, then you feel like you're taking it on yourself. And that's not a fair position for anybody to play in a relationship. My happiness is not his responsibility, and his happiness is not mine. We have to first learn how to make ourselves happy, to make each other happy. And so when one person is taking on the weight of the entire relationship, it's never going to work. You have to show up, and yes, you want to be understanding, but you can't lose yourself in that understanding. You have to still stand up for yourself and be there for yourself. But it's hard to do if the other person isn't doing that part either.
Taraji, now when you say things didn't work out, did y'all try to make it work?
I'm not going into that.
Okay.
What you say that? What you do? Because see, what you're not going to do is have my day filled with damn bloggers.
True.
That's trauma right there. Well, you have to go see your therapist after that.
It's nobody's business what's going on in my personal life. All I'm saying is relationships take work. Yes. And it takes both sides to really be there. It's selfless. Sometimes you gotta sit on it. Sometimes you can't take it to him. Sometimes you gotta take it to the therapist and work it out first. That's why it is so important. And no, your therapist ain't your preacher. Your therapist is not your pastor. Your therapist is not nobody at the church is your therapist. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I don't think a house divided can stand. If I'm on a journey of healing and you not, I don't think it's gonna work. You gotta heal together.
It's not ever gonna work because what's gonna happen is you're gonna find yourself growing, right? And that person isn't. because they're not doing the work. So naturally, you're going to grow apart. That's the natural progression of things. You're going to grow apart.
And this is the issue that we have in relationships, because you become trauma buddies. And so it's trauma bonding.
Ooh.
And a lot of the
trauma bonding.
The trauma is holding a relationship together. And as you said, Charlamagne, and that's the challenge.
That's
when
good.
one person begins to heal, the other person become irrelevant and they become insignificant, because when you begin to heal, you begin to see different. And now you're no longer seeing from a trauma lens. You're now seeing from a heal lens. And you're right, Taraji. And if two people are not connected, whenever I'm talking to couples, I say, listen, you both have to be committed to this journey, and you have to be committed to this process, because healing is a process. In so many cases, you have two half people coming together and they're creating a whole mess. And so I'm bringing my trauma, you bringing your trauma, and we create this traumatic experience in the relationship. And it's hard to even differentiate what is healthy and what does healthy look like, even when a healed person shows up.